ego will tell us, well, it's not going to matter anyway. Well, I don't know how. I love referring back to the Gita and, chapter 2, where Arjuna is just justifying to Krishna all the reasons he shouldn't actually step up and do the thing he was born to do.
What is an ideal life? It's beaches and pina coladas, sitting at a beach and laying around. But when you zoom out of your life, like of 80 years, what is that? 4 weeks total? The thought of the episode came to me from a quote that I just saw. And it said that the person who doesn't read is no better off than the person who can't read.
Ooh.
Right?
Mic drop.
I know. And so that's why I thought we'd do another one of our fun episodes of what are we reading right now. I remember last time we did it, a lot of people engaged and shared with us their thoughts on the book. So why don't we have a little bit of a shorter episode today, a little bit lighter one, and why don't we share what each of us are reading right now?
I love that. So what are you reading?
Oh, you want me to go first? Okay. I am currently reading / listening on Audible Arnold Schwarzenegger's new book, Be Useful, 7 Tools for Life.
Say more about that.
Yeah, it's great. It's Arnie's, look at me saying Arnie like I know the guy.
You're besties.
Right? Yeah, the former governor and movie star and bodybuilder. I love it because I love listening to books when it's read by the author in their accent. So another great book is Trevor Noah's Born a Crime.
Oh, I want to read that one.
Such a great book. So anyways, Arnold Schwarzenegger's first self-help guide, insights for making life a remarkable journey, and outlines, the key principles that helped him to go through the various chapters of his life, which is from like bodybuilder to movie star to governor of California. And he got through there through those chapters after being governor, and he was determined not to be done. And this is the 4th chapter of his life, which is sort of being a mentor, helping people navigate life from the wisdom he has gained.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
always giving it back, paying it forward, if you will.
Always. And the biggest, and I don't want to give away the book, but his stories really highlight how one of the keys to his success has always been embracing the boring stuff. Right? Like you just got to do stuff and tolerate stuff more than other people.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, it reminds me of there's all these justifications for why we shouldn't do something or why we don't want to do something, and it's okay that we don't want to do that thing.
Yeah.
And the ego will tell us, well, it's not going to matter anyway. Well, I don't know how. Well, I don't know. That's just a lot of work, right? Very much like I love referring back to the Gita and, chapter 2, where Arjuna is just justifying to Krishna all the reasons he shouldn't actually step up and do the thing he was born to do. The world is hanging in the balance for him to actually advocate for truth, and he won't do it.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what came to mind for me when you said there's the boring stuff and you do it. The difference between the extraordinary person and the person who lives an average life, although certainly not a bad one, is their ability to welcome and embrace more of the less than glamorous.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we've talked about this, I think, before. If you think about like what is an ideal life, right? Like it's beaches and pina coladas, right? Like sitting at a beach and laying around. But when you zoom out of your life, like of 80 years, what is that? 4 weeks total, right? So you can't live life for the beaches and pina coladas, because what you end up doing is going from one beach and a pina colada to another beach and a pina colada, and you missed everything in between. Like you just zoom through the largest chunks of your life. So yeah, it's a great book. I highly recommend it. I'm about 3 or 4 chapters in, and if you like anything that Arnold Schwarzenegger stands for, and you like his voice, you're not going to get annoyed by his voice. Definitely a good book to check out. What about
Yeah.
you? What about you,
Okay.
Seema?
Well, I confession,
Yeah,
I have been working on trying to read Adam Grant's book,
Hidden
Hidden
Potential.
Potential, for
Yeah,
a while now. And I am, there are times where I just don't read because whatever reason, right? Insert whatever reason.
yeah.
But I'm still working on it. And every time I return back to it, man, is it good.
Is it?
It really, and it's not stuff that we haven't talked about on the podcast. It's not stuff that we don't, experience ourselves, Dinesh. But what I really love about it is it gives, for me at least, it's powerful reminders of simple, actionable things I can do to make sure I'm showing up for myself in the way that was going to make me feel proud and feel like my life is one that I've mastered the art of creating.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, like and importantly too, it sort of can give you fresh perspective. It can give you powerful reframes. Right now, the section that I'm reading, it's talking about the importance of play
Mm,
and as you do things, right? And I've said it before, you've said it before. If you're not having fun,
yeah,
you're actually cutting yourself off from more valuable learning. The time you spend learning is actually not as effective as
yeah.
if you are doing it with a sense of play.
Right.
And he talks about, in this particular section of the book, that's what he's talking about. And I'm finding it really, really valuable as I look to sort of think about restarting my newsletter and, all of this other stuff that I've fallen off of. I'm thinking about doing a retreat in the fall for, ambitious women. And there's all these reasons where I'm like, oh, this
Mm.
is so much stress. And it's a good reminder for me to go back and say, all right, like, how can I make this fun?
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
That's a book that's on my list. Um, as I'm going down, I know it's about 2 or 3 books down on my Kindle. But listeners, as you're listening to this episode is probably going to air a couple of weeks from when we're recording it. Why don't you guys send Seema a DM and hold her accountable? Seema, you think you're going to finish that book by the time this episode drops?
Well, now
Yeah.
challenge, the gauntlet's thrown.
Yeah. So, listeners, if Seema doesn't finish the book by the time you guys DM her, and I want you guys to DM her, she's going to have to do something. There's going to be some consequence, maybe live on the show, that she has to pay up for.
You don't want me to sing. I like that because I think it's a great book.
Yeah.
And the other one that I wanted to actually talk about real quick was Spare by Prince Harry.
Mm,
Um, People criticize it and say, oh, he's, just complains a lot and blah, blah, blah. He's whiny. But I think, we in the episode previous, we just talked about the importance of seeing um, other things, learning about other things and how they actually might relate to you as a person.
yeah.
And when you read it from that lens of curiosity and like, okay, what is he actually saying? I'm not going to have any preconceived notions about what I think this book is about. It was really insightful.
Hmm.
I actually, I saw him in a light I never would have otherwise.
Mm,
I have a lot of respect for, you know, the things he's gone through that were not all choices of his own doing.
hmm.
Um, it gives you insight into the monarchy that is maybe less talked about. But I really think, in terms of because this podcast is about mindset and
Hmm.
how to live a happy, full life, I think it's a fantastic book.
We'd love to hear from you. What are you guys reading? Share with us your books that really have made an impact on you, and we'd love to check them out too.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, guys.